In May of 1998, the seniors at Summit Lake High School in Colorado set out for their final adventure before stepping into adulthood. 23 students, 2 teachers, and a bus driver, all of them vanished without a trace deep in the Rocky Mountains. For 26 years, there were no clues, no bodies, just silence. Until July 2024, when a mountain biker discovered the long-missing yellow school bus in White River National Forest. And inside, he encountered something no one was prepared for. Before we start this story, drop a comment and share which city in the world you're watching from today. Take 1 second to support the channel by hitting the subscribe button for free. Summit Lake High School was located in a small mountain town in Colorado, in a community of 800 people. In the spring of 1998, the senior class was counting down to graduation. The class of 23 students was a tight-knit community who had known each other since childhood, grown up in the same classrooms, played on the same sports teams. May 27, 1998, Wednesday morning at 7:30 a.m. The yellow school bus was waiting in front of Summit Lake High School. Behind the wheel sat 58-year-old Walter Briggs, not the town's regular bus driver, but a last-minute substitute. The regular driver had gotten sick the day before, and they'd called Walter. Nobody really knew Walter. He was from a neighboring town looking for temporary work. 23 students boarded the bus, backpacks stuffed with sleeping bags and snacks. 2 teachers joined them, English teacher Miss Linda Hartley and football coach Mr. Kenneth Cross. Both were experienced, trustworthy, names the parents relied on. The destination was an isolated campground in White River National Forest, about 3 hours from Denver, deep in the woods, far from civilization. The students would spend 4 days and 3 nights at camp, hiking, exploring nature, and tasting freedom one last time before entering the real world. The bus departed at 8:15 a.m. Parents waved. Some captured the moment with cameras. At 2:30 p.m., the campground attendant checked his records. There was a reservation for the Summit Lake High School bus, but they hadn't arrived. The attendant wasn't worried. Maybe they were running late. Maybe they'd stopped along the way. By 6 p.m., they still hadn't arrived. The attendant called the school. The assistant principal who answered was panicking. "What do you mean they haven't arrived? They left this morning." At 7:45 p.m., the first 911 call was made. The Summit Lake Sheriff's Department immediately sprang into action. Search and rescue teams began sweeping the entire route between Denver and White River National Forest. Helicopters scanned the area from the sky. Search dogs tracked the roads. But no trace was found. Not a single witness who had seen the yellow bus. No accident reports. No cell phone signals detected. Cell phones weren't common in 1998, but it was known that a few students had them. The first clue came on May 30th. A couple hiking in the forest found something about a mile off the trail near a river. Marcus Hoffman's camcorder, broken and buried in mud. The tape was inside but couldn't be played due to water damage. A week later, another clue. A few days later, the family of student Amber Lee received an envelope in the mail. There was no return address on it, no postmark. Inside were 3 words: "We're safe. Stop searching." The handwriting looked like Amber's, but not quite. Experts examined it. The pressure was inconsistent. The letters appeared to be imitated. It was probably fake. The search operation continued for 6 weeks. Hundreds of volunteers scoured the forest. Federal units joined in. But the result was 0. By the end of July, the search was suspended. 23 students, 2 teachers, 1 driver, 26 people missing, probably dead. But there were no bodies and no bus. Years passed. Some families gave up hope. Some never did. Eleanor, the mother of student Chelsea, left her daughter's room exactly as it was. Textbooks, Stanford acceptance letter, wall posters. Every morning she made the bed, as if Chelsea would be coming home that evening. Some of the students' families went to White River Forest every year and searched the campgrounds for months. They looked under every rock, walked every trail, but each time they got the same result. Summit Lake High School held a memorial service every year on May 27th. 26 candles were lit, Names were read, but as the years passed, attendance decreased. New students didn't know the story. Old teachers retired or moved away. The town was shrouded in a heavy silence, something they tried to forget but never could. July 15th, 2024. A hot summer day in Colorado. 37-year-old mountain biker Derek Salazar was trying out a new route in White River National Forest. Far from the marked trails, he had veered into a dangerous, steep area that was almost never used, but with an incredible view. Around 3:30 p.m., he noticed a yellow color, a metallic reflection through the dense brush. Curious, he left his bike and walked closer. Through the brush and 26 years of growth, a school bus emerges, completely buried, covered with moss and vines, tires sunk in mud. The number on the side is barely readable. Derek forces the door. It's swollen and rusted. When it finally opens, a musty, stale air blows out from inside. The interior is like a tomb. Seats torn, windows broken, floor covered with rotting belongings. Backpacks, jackets, yearbooks, all moldy. One has the emblem Summit Lake High 1998. In the back seat under the luggage racks, Derek sees bones. Human bones. Not just one set, several sets. Horrified, he immediately calls 911. The area is immediately cordoned off with crime scene tape. Forensic teams, anthropologists, FBI agents rush to the scene. The bus is carefully examined. Inside, 14 human skeletons are found. Identities are determined through dental records and DNA tests. 12 students, 1 teacher, and driver Walter Briggs. But 12 people are still missing. 11 students and Ms. Hartley. The belongings inside the bus are cataloged. Most are destroyed, but one thing stands out. In a backpack under the driver's seat, a plastic folder. Inside, drawings signed by Sarah Kovacs. The drawings are disturbing. One shows figures standing around a fire in the forest. Another, masked faces, expressionless blank. Another, blood dripping from tree branches, forming a circle on the ground. Unintelligible symbols at the edge of the page. The last drawing is the most chilling. The bus, but different, surrounded by tall, faceless silhouettes, and on the windshield, at the steering wheel, a mask. Investigators scour the area. They try to understand how the bus got there. There's no road, no tracks, no trail. The bus wasn't driven there. It was placed, hidden. July 22nd, 2024, early morning, a man walks into Summit Lake Police Station. Thin, exhausted, unshaven for years. His clothes are old, his hair disheveled. His eyes are in deep hollows, constantly looking around as if he's being followed. He approaches the front desk and whispers, "I'm Jared Walker." From the class of '98, the officers freeze. Jared Walker, one of the missing 23 students, last seen 26 years ago. Police want to verify his identity. Jared pulls out his wallet with trembling hands. An old, worn driver's license, the photo faded. Fingerprints are taken. A DNA sample is given. The results come back. There's a match. This really is Jared Walker. But Jared doesn't want to talk. Not yet, he says. They're still watching. Days later, Jared finally talks. He gives a statement for hours. His story's incredible, but every word feels true. The bus broke down, he says. We were way off the main road. Walter, the driver, didn't know what to do. Our phones weren't getting signal. We started waiting. Then they came. Men in forest camouflage, 8 or 9 people. They had guns, but they weren't aggressive. You look lost, they said. We can help you. Jared pauses. Mr. Cross was suspicious, but we had no choice. We went with them. They took us to a commune, deep in the forest, a place that didn't appear on any map. The buildings were adobe and wood. 15 to 20 people lived inside. At first they gave us food, gave us shelter. They seemed calm, but then they changed. Jared's face tenses. They imposed rules on us. We couldn't talk about the outside. We couldn't remember our families. They did something they called reprogramming. They were putting drugs in the food. It was clouding our minds. We were having nightmares. They were doing sleep schedules, controlling when we slept, when we woke up. Some kids resisted. They tried to escape. They were never seen again. The investigators listened silently. Chelsea was the first to resist, Jared says. They thought she was the leader. They took her. Then, she never came back. Marcus tried to hide his camera to gather evidence. They took him too. Amber tried to escape. She was caught. Sarah was making drawings, documenting their rituals, copying the symbols. They punished her repeatedly, but she didn't stop. In 2004, I found an opportunity. One night a guard fell asleep. I ran. I ran for miles. I didn't stop until I found a road. Jared starts trembling, but I couldn't go back. I was scared. I thought they'd find me. I hid for years, changed my name. But when I heard they found the bus, I thought they needed to know. The FBI investigates Jared's story. The forest is searched, and they find it. An isolated compound, abandoned but full of evidence. Old buildings, rotting belongings, and underground, graves. 9 more bodies are found. DNA tests confirm the identities. 9 missing students. Chelsea Brennan is among them. But 3 people are still missing. Sarah Kovacs, Marcus Hoffman, and Ms. Hartley, and the founders of the commune. They vanished years ago. No names, no documents. They're like ghosts. Jared's story becomes national news. Some families find relief. At least now they know. Others are angry. Why did it take so long? Jared remains under protection. He receives threats. Some people don't believe him. He did it all, they say. He's hiding something. But the evidence clears Jared. DNA, forensics, timeline. Everything confirms his story. After the event, Sarah, Marcus, and Ms. Hartley were never found. Maybe they're still alive and hiding. Or maybe the truth finally came out. Or had nothing come out yet at all. Maybe we only knew what they wanted us to know. But some mysteries are never fully solved. If you want more unsolved mysteries that have defied explanation for decades, despite all the research, subscribe to Mr. Mystery.